What's up, my friends? Welcome back to my channel for a fun video all about books. This video is going to be about my TBR list for Q4. TBR is, of course, your to be read list, and I have a big one for Q4. If you saw my video on October 1st, it was all about my Q4 goals, last 90 days goals, and my goal for the quarter for my reading goal, my ultimate goal for the year, was to become a reader. And while it is debatable as to whether or not I'm actually working on achieving that, this quarter I decided to up my game because I have a lot of books on my to be read list, and I have a goal of reading 10 books this quarter. And so what I thought I would share with you today is the list of books that I intend to read. If that sounds interesting, keep watching. Oh my goodness, I am so excited about today's video because it actually got me really fired up just preparing for this video. I actually stood here and went through my bookshelf and I was like, all right, so what are the books that I'm going to prioritize for Q4? Because I do have quite a handful that I haven't read yet. Not all of them, but a handful of them. And so I got to pick and choose. I'm like, which ones? Which ones are going to be the lucky winners? And so I picked some based on theme. Believe it or not, I have a lot that are fiction books that I want to read, and I'm not necessarily a fiction reader, but the more that I'm reading fiction, the more I'm finding I'm enjoying reading fiction. So fingers crossed that I actually get into fiction reading outside of my beloved Harry Potter. Don't get me wrong, I love me my Harry Potter, but it's time to continue to engage in fiction reading. So I want to share with you all of the books I'm so excited to read. But before we do that, hello, I'm so glad you're here. My name is Brianna and I am the diva behind Diva and the Divine and your healthy homemaker, sharing my journey through life using health, habits, happiness, and homemaking to go after the life that I want and be my best self. And it's arguable as to whether or not reading a bunch of fiction books helps me be my best self, but I actually truly think it does for a couple of reasons. One, reading is good for you. Reading builds the brain. Yes, you can read fiction, nonfiction. I want to read a little bit of both so you can learn a lot, but for me, also, embracing the habit of reading is going to keep me from mindlessly scrolling and doing time-wasting tasks and doing something a little bit more productive with my time. So, this is going to be a long list, and while I don't know much about any of the books that I'm reading, I want to make sure that I have time to get through them all. So, the reason I'm looking around is because I have a list written down somewhere, and I don't know where it is. I found it. Okay, so my TBR list. I have hard copy books that I want to read, and I have some audiobooks that I want to listen to as well. The audiobooks are just kind of like extra icing on the cake, so I figured I would go through them quickly. I do have Audible, and I have some books that I've downloaded via Audible. So one of the books I want to get through, I want to finish Barack Obama's autobiography. I'm in the middle of that and have been for a while. I put it down and never picked it back up. I want to listen to Homework by Julie Andrews is one that I purchased and I haven't listened to yet. And then I also have some books that are on Scribd, which is Scribd, I don't know how you say it, but I know that I love it. And it is kind of like a Netflix for books type of thing, and they have a lot of audiobooks on there, and it's like $8.99 or $9.99 a month. If you want, shameless plug, 2 months free of Scribd, use my referral link down below, and thank you in advance if you do, because I get a month free and I use this app constantly. So thank you if you use my referral link. But I want to listen to The Glucose Revolution because I've heard good things about that, and I'm always interested in learning new information and other perspectives about nutrition and health. Clean-ish, which I believe is about clean-ish eating. I want to read Sitting Pretty. I'm actually in the middle of that right now. It is by a woman named Rebecca, whose name I can't remember, and she's disabled, and I've been loving listening to it so far, so I want to finish that as well. But I want to talk more about the hard copy books. So first, let's talk about the books that I don't have with me. First book that I want to consume this quarter is The Lazy Genius Kitchen. I purchased it when it was on sale on Kindle a couple months ago, and I just haven't cracked it open yet. And I loved The Lazy Genius so much. This one, The Lazy Genius. I loved The Lazy Genius so much that it was a no questions asked as to whether or not I was going to get The Lazy Genius Kitchen, especially since I'm embracing my homemaker. I love being in the kitchen and cooking and doing all those things. So why not lazy genius the thing that I love, which is being in the kitchen? So I'm gonna read Lazy Genius Kitchen. Next up is 3 books that I'm reading exclusively because I joined Sharon Says So's. I don't know if you've heard of her, Sharon McMahon. She's America's government teacher on Instagram. Best account I follow on Instagram. I started following her the day of the Capitol riots on January 6th because someone shared that she was going to be live Insta-storying, explaining what was happening with the counting of the votes. And then of course the riots happened. And so she got a lot of followers that day because she was talking about what was happening. And what's really nice about her is she's an incredibly unbiased account. You do not know which way she leans politically. She just states facts as facts, the way they are, and I love it. And she runs a book club now. And so I finally decided to pay for membership to the book club, and I'm loving it so far. And the 3 books that are being read in that book club are Just Mercy by David Stevenson, which I'm currently in the middle of now, actually, but I'm gonna count it because I'm probably gonna still be reading it into this month. Empire of Pain, whose author I can't remember, I'll put it right here, which is about the family, I think that had something to do with the opioid crisis, right? And then to lighten up the subject matter, because the Sharon Says So book clubs can get really, really heavy, they decided to throw in a fun book every semester now too. And the fun book for this one is Office Bffs. And I'm watching The Office for the first time right now. We're on season 6 of The Office. And this book was written by Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey, Angela Kinsey, who you guys know as Pam and Angela from The Office. And I was so excited about this, primarily because this was the big sell for the book club for me, because I wanted an excuse to get this book anyway. What's cool about the Sharon Says So book club is that we get access to Zoom calls with the authors. So I'm actually going to be able to attend a Zoom call with these 2 actresses, which is super, super cool. So I'm really, really excited to read this book as well. Oh, I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited about this. I also want to glance at the book Who Are You Following?, which is by Sadie. I don't remember her last name, but she's of the Duck Dynasty people, their last name. But apparently it's a really good book, kind of reassessing your relationship with social media, which is very much the season of life that I'm in right now. So I do want to give that a quick read. It's a short book, but it's gonna be worth my time. And then I want to take a look at a book called Rhythms of Renewal. Both this and Who Are You Following are available on Scribd, which is why they are on my list. Rhythms of Renewal just sounds like, again, a book that feels really appropriate for the season of life that I'm in right now. And then we have my overabundance of fiction books. In the month of October, I don't actually know if this is legit or not, but I got this for Christmas. I asked for it. It's a beautiful book. It's called The Lost Apothecary. And I feel like this is a book that I probably should read in October because, you know, like witches and stuff. 18th century London, women whisper of a hidden apothecary shop and its mysterious owner, Nella, who sells well-distinguished poisons to use against oppressive men in their lives. Like, okay, yeah, that feels like a perfect book for the month of October with a slightly Halloween-y theme. So I'm going to be reading this in October. This one is also a nonfiction one, so I'll throw this in here. I've had this book forever. I've started it multiple times and I've never finished it. This is 168 Hours by Laura Vanderkam. You have more time than you think. 168 hours is how many hours are in a week. So this is a book on time management, which is also something I'm working on. So I want to finally actually finish this book. And then we have some Book of the Month books. I've been a member of Book of the Month for almost a year now. I think actually October is my last month of it. And I've not completed all of the books as they've been coming in. So the first one I want to read is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This one has had rave reviews on Book of the Month's app. And I mean, it's sciencey, it's romance. I'm a sucker for a slightly spicy romance book, you guys. I love them. I love them. I love them. They make me so happy. So this one is supposed to deliver all of those things. This one is called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And I remember usually when I do Book of the Month, this was also Book of the Month, and here, Book of the Month. But I usually just order, I either skip a month if nothing really sounds interesting, or I order the romance book as a default because romantic fiction is easy for me to get into. But for whatever reason, this one sounded interesting. So just a little bit about it on the sleeve here. In this exhilarating novel by the best-selling author of The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry, two friends, often in love but never lovers, come together as creative partners in the world of video game design, where success brings them fame, joy, tragedy, duplicity, and ultimately a kind of immortality. So because it was a video game type thing, I was like, well, that's interesting and something a little bit different, so why not give this a try? So that's on my list to read. And then my final two books are December specific books. And the first one is actually from the Paper and Glam, I don't even know if that's what she's still calling it, book club that I was a member of briefly last year, and I got my hands on the reading list for this year, but then I ended up not wanting to pay for the book club anymore because I wasn't really getting anything out of it. But I still acquired some of the books. The Lost Apothecary was also on the book list for this year. And so their December book was this, as you can tell, it is Christmas themed. It's called The City Baker's Guide to Country Living, which I can pretty much guarantee you is a Hallmark movie and a book, right? Like city girl goes to the country, falls in love, blah, blah, blah. And I haven't even read the back of it, but I asked for it for my birthday so I could, you know, knock some of the books off of my list and not have to buy them on my own. So this one I got for my birthday last November. I haven't cracked it open because I forgot last December. And then once January rolled around, I was like, well, this is a Christmas book, so of course I'm going to wait until December to read it. So this has to be read in December before Christmas. And then the final book on my TBR is a Book of the Month Club book that is also a Christmas book. This is by Christina Lauren and it's called In a Holidays. Again, I know nothing about it except it was flagged as romance and it has a Christmas theme, and I'm a sucker for a wintry Christmas, which is hilarious because I hate winter, but I'm a sucker for a good winter book, right? With like a Christmas theme, like Hallmark movie. I'm a sucker for a Hallmark movie in book form. So that's, in theory, exactly what this is. I read, oh gosh, what was it last year? I don't see it, which makes me wonder where the heck it is. Maybe I left it with my sister. I read a really great Book of the Month Club book for December last year that was like a really nice snowy winter romance. My point is, I like Hallmark movies in book form. So In a Holidays is another one for December. And I think that was more than 10 books, right? Of the hard copy books on its own, I have 7 sitting here. I have a couple on Kindle. I have a couple on audio. I've got to at least 10 books, probably more that I would like to read. And I'm fired up about it. I think it's gonna be so much fun to just cozy up with a book and read and my Kindle and read. I don't know. I still have it on my heart to become a reader, even though I haven't been good at actually accomplishing that thing. I still have it on my heart. It's still a desire of mine to really want to make that happen. So stay tuned. Stay tuned and I will keep you guys updated as to how many books I'm actually getting through. I'm so excited. So let me know, my friends, in the comments below, what is on your TBR? What books are on your to be read list? That is question number 1. So let me know a couple of titles that you are super excited to read. And then number 2, do you have any seasonal book recommendations for me? October has Halloween themed things. Now I don't like any like crazy spooky or anything, but for example, my first Book of the Month Club book was The Ex-Hex, and it's a romance, but it's a Halloween-y witchy romance, and I loved it. I loved it. So it was the perfect blend of like Halloween theme, but also romance. So there's that. I'm very curious about The Lost Apothecary. So like anything like that for October. I don't even know. Are there seasonal November books? I don't even know. Or Christmas themed books like I've been telling you about. Let me know in the comments below what your book recommendations for me are. Bonus points if they are unscribed or Kindle Unlimited. That's all I have for you today. I will have all of the books mentioned today linked down below for you in case one of them piqued your interest. Thank you guys for watching. Take care, and I will see you again real soon. Bye.